Well, you can't tell much from the picture, but I'll ask you. I asked Rose this, our administrator, this Sunday, and she didn't know the answer. Why do elephants wear pink sneakers and hippopotamuses wear purple sneakers? No. But you're close. I had to tell Monty that one earlier today. He didn't know. Well, I believe I heard the correct answer over here.
Different games.
Well, they play on different teams. That's why. Okay. That's the whole joke. Don't wait for more. That was it. They play on different teams. That's why they're wearing different colored sneakers. All right, let's start over. I was going to say I'm going to read a bunch of Bible verses here, but I'm not. I'm going to ask you to do that. As these come up, I want somebody, I don't care who, somebody stand up and as loud as you can, read the verse that's on the screen. And as you're reading it, everybody else should be thinking about what is the common thread in all of these verses. These are just a few from the Gospel of Luke. I could have gone through the Bible and found thousands that are similar to this, but this is what we're after. Somebody stand and read.
During that time, Jesus went out to the mountain to pray, and he prayed to God all night long. At daybreak, he called together his disciples.
Thank you, Lori. Here's another. Someone?
One day, Jesus, his disciples,
boarded
a boat. He said to them, let's cross over to the other side of the lake. So they set sail.
Here's another one. Somebody. Monty.
Once when Jesus was praying by himself, the disciples joined him, and he asked them, who does the crowd say that I am?
Another one.
After these things, he commissioned 72 others and sent them on ahead and paths to every city and place he was about to go.
And this one.
Turning to the disciples, he said privately, happy are the eyes that see what you see.
And this one.
Jesus was praying in a certain place. When he finished, one of his disciples said, Lord, this is prayer.
And this one.
When a crowd of thousands upon thousands had gathered so that they were crushing each other, Jesus began to speak first to his disciples.
And this one. Go ahead.
Jesus left and made his way to the Mount of Olives, as was his custom, and the disciples followed him.
Okay, so what's the common thread?
The disciples follow him.
Well, the disciples are following him, and that's pretty obvious, and that's not exactly what I was going for, but that's one. No, you're closer, Ruth, over here.
He surrounds himself with people.
He surrounds himself with people. Yes, particularly what people? Did you notice that? A lot of these verses, Jesus is taking his disciples away from everybody else. He's going off with them,
He speaks to them first.
yes, was it this one? Jesus began to speak first to his disciples in the middle of the crowd. What you find in these verses is that frequently, and this is, like I said, this is just from the Gospel of Luke. There's a lot more examples of this. Jesus has taken his disciples aside. He's taken them off by themselves with him, or he's speaking to them privately. At any rate, he is spending a great deal of time talking to the closest followers, his closest group of people together. Why is he doing that? Why is he spending time with them when there are so many people in the world? As a matter of fact, why in the world does he even have a group of disciples? What was the point of doing that? Why did he need that? So they can spread the gospel? Yes, I heard preparation. Preparation for what? Now you might not remember this, but way back, a long time ago, on November 27th, we talked about Jesus telling his disciples that the world that they knew was going to come to an end and everything was going to be different, and that's going to happen to us too, that there are changes that come in life and things are going to be different for us in the future. And Jesus was telling them this because he wanted them to get prepared for this. Jesus did not want his disciples to be lost in all of the changes. When the city of Jerusalem was destroyed, when people were dispersed, he didn't want his disciples to be going through that and just to be lost, to be caught up in the chaos, to be part of the destruction. He didn't want that. He knew that tough times were coming for everybody in Judea and Galilee, and particularly for those people who were considered to be revolutionaries of some kind, people who were considered to be nonconformist. It was going to be pretty bad for them. And a lot of people thought Jesus was one of those, and a lot of people thought his followers were among those who were radical and different. And so Jesus intended to build a community of these people who were going to go through these tough times. For what reason? Yes, to help each other get through them. He didn't want him to be lost in it, so he spent a lot of time with his closest followers, talking to them, explaining them, warning and challenging them, because he knew they would need each other if they were going to get through this. He knew that there was going to be a lot of trouble, and they would all need help along the way. Everybody needs help along the way. There is simply no such thing as a self-made person. Did you wake up this morning? Do you know why you woke up this morning? One of the reasons you woke up this morning? Because the house that you live in, or the apartment that you live in, was built up to a certain code. And therefore it was a safe place to live. It didn't collapse in the wind in the night. It didn't happen to have troubles. The house that you live in was safe because it was required by the builders that they build it safely. The government has certain safety regulations when places are built, and because of those safety regulations, it's safe for you to go to sleep at night and you wake up in the morning. Did you have breakfast this morning?
Yes.
Did you grind your own oats? Good, Chip did. Go ahead. Now, here's what I want to know. If you made your own breakfast, raise your hand. But, okay, now, if you ate a breakfast that somebody else made, raise your hand. Well, I'm kind of halfway in between. All right. Show me by this hands. Did someone else drive the vehicle that you arrived here in? If it did, raise your hand. Okay. Did you come to an intersection while you were driving here to church today? Everybody come to an intersection? Okay. Did the other drivers cooperate with you and stop when it was their turn to stop and go when it was their turn to go? Did that happen? Okay. Did you read the bulletin this morning? You have got one in your hand? Have you got a bulletin in your hand? Did you teach yourself to read? Or did someone else teach you to read? Yeah, someone else did. Okay. And the bulletin under there, did you print it? Did you fold it? Did you distribute it? Did you put Caitlin's name in spelled wrong? No. How many of you think I should play the organ today when we do the next hymn? Only Chip. That would be a terrible, terrible idea. And we'd have to sing it so slow. Anybody notice the carpet underneath of you? Isn't it clean? Did you move the pews so that the carpet cleaners could get in here? Raise your hand if you did. Okay, raise your hand if you didn't. Ah, okay. And this is just small stuff. This is just the small stuff. Most of us are living with a life partner. Who here today has been helped by someone that you are living with? Is there anyone here who wasn't helped in some way? We all get lots of help. Nobody gets through anything without help. We need each other to face the changes that come in our lives, because most of the changes we face are personal and maybe predictable. Others are social changes or unpredictable changes. We all know we're getting older, right? But we all don't, and none of us know what the world is really going to be like when we get older. That's why I'm wearing this safety pin. I'm wearing it because right now there are a lot of people in our country who are afraid that changes are coming that will adversely affect them, that there will be a loss of civil rights, loss of assistance programs, that sort of thing. As always, they are afraid that there will be war, and the safety pin is a symbol of our desire that we all be safe, that nobody be excluded from opportunity and from the help that is needed because they are too old or too young, because they're the wrong color or the wrong language, or because they've been sick or because they've been too healthy, whatever. We want to say with this pin that people are safe. I certainly hope people who look at me are thinking about my needs as well, and I am thinking about theirs. Right now, I can walk. I can see pretty well. I can hear when I want to. I can earn a living. But what if that changes? And when could that change? When might any of those things go away? Any moment. Any moment. So I know I need to know that there are people who will look out for me when I can no longer do it myself. Right now, I am a pastor, a spiritual leader. But what happens when my faith gets challenged? What happens when I am the one that needs help? When I am the one that needs somebody to speak words of encouragement or comfort or knowledge to me? I have a group of pastors that I meet with regularly because it's so important for us to get together, to talk to each other, to encourage each other, so that we hold on to our faith so that I can then encourage you when yours is challenged. That's part of why we're here together today. Worship is one of the ways that we are bound together, one of the things that pulls us together. It's as if Jesus said to us, come with me, let's go off by ourselves. For the next hour, let's go off by ourselves and let me talk to you. You know the word ecclesiastical? You've heard this word, ecclesial. What does it mean when you hear someone saying ecclesial? Or ecumenical, it's the same word. It is a word that refers to churches, but does anybody know what the word means? Ecclesia, the Greek word. Anybody know? Raymond?
Like household or
No.
something?
It's a nice guess, though.
Sheriff?
No, but that's a good guess, too. Ecclesia means, stand up, those who have been called aside. That's what the word means. Those who have been set aside, who have been called aside. Thank you. You are ecclesia. You are the ones that have been called aside. That's why we're here. Because you have been set aside. God has chosen and pulled you out from the others and says, come aside for a little while. Be here together, because we need to spend time together. Because changes are coming, and some of them are going to be rough, and we have got to help each other get through that. That's part of why we're here today. We need each other. Gene Honeywell, remember Gene? Gene was a member of this church, a longtime friend of mine. And I still miss him terribly, but one of the things he used to say was this: I come to church even when I don't need to be there, because I don't know when someone else might need me to be there. Isn't that a beautiful attitude, to think that I might have something that you need, and that's why I'm here. Your family is a place where you are bound to other people. Your family, whether you choose a family or whether or not the family is one that you're born into. Who remembers, this week we had the August family lit our candle. Who remembers who did it last week? Who did? Do you guys remember who did it last week? Yeah. Fred and Peter did. Okay, Fred and Peter were married here in this church. Who did it the week before that? Anybody remember? Lynn. And she did it by herself. Right. And the reason I have chosen those three, and now you're going to can't wait to see who does it next week, because I wanted families that didn't look like each other. I wanted families that are different from each other. Lynn would definitely tell you, Lynn lives with her sister, but if you asked her, is this church a family to you? She would say yes. Fred and Peter, the August family, all the families that are here. Some of you are parts of families that you were born into, and some of you have chosen a family to be your own. And those are important places for us to hold on to each other because they bind us together. They hold us together. And how many of you are part of a community like, Lewiston, Auburn? Every one of us are. A community is a place where you live, where you consider home. I'm just curious about this, and I think I could get in trouble if I answered this question yes. But raise your hand. Are you a Mainer? How many of you are Mainers? Okay. There's something about that I envy. I've lived in Maine now, one more year, and I'll have lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. I don't know if I'm a Mainer or not yet. I envy those of you who can say, well, this is my place. This is my place. I know where I am. This is my home. This is my town. This is my state. That's a good thing to have. But I also know that you have welcomed me to Maine, and it's been 17 years. Can I relax now and stay? I hope so. Pardon? Don't go far too far down east, right? Yeah, because there are those in Maine who aren't sure that Portland consists of Mainers. I know. This is my community now. This is where I live. This is my place. And it's important to me to remember that communities are communities because they're bound together. We need to be together. We need to hang on to each other. We need to help each other through the troubles that exist. You've seen the houses in Lewiston with the red X's on them, a red sign with a white X on it? You don't know about these? What are those, Raymond? Anybody know? What are they?
Places that are going to be torn down.
They're going to be torn down. They're condemned. Yeah, they're the places that are for whatever reason. Yeah. Some of you lived here when Lewiston, Auburn was booming. Some of you were part of the boom. I'm looking at you, Ralph. I know that you were part of the reason this community was successful and prosperous. And those have been hard times for us. But we got to hang on to each other and hold on. Got to be involved in your communities. Take care. Find ways to get involved. Be doing things. This is what we are called to do. We are called to be connected to each other, to hold on to each other, to remember that this is important to us because changes are coming of all kinds. And here in this church, and here in this community, and here in our families, and wherever it is we may be, if we can just hold on to each other a little bit tighter, we may find that when those changes come, we're ready to deal with them. Amen? Amen.
You've been listening to a sermon by Reverend Stephen Carnahan, pastor of High Street Congregational Church in Auburn, Maine. If you feel inspired by what you hear, we invite you to join us in person for worship services every Sunday morning, beginning at 10 o'clock. Of course, you can always listen to Steve's sermons on the web. New sermons are posted every Monday by midday. Please take a moment to explore this website for more information about our church, or visit our Facebook page at High Street Congregational Church, UCC. We hope that God's presence will be known to you every hour of every day, and that God's blessings will rest upon you now and always. See you next week.